Hello, this is Julius from Basic Financials. Today I would like to talk about PAYE, Pay As You Earn. That's what happens when you're employed by somebody or a business, and you have your pay, it might be monthly, might be weekly, normally monthly these days, but you will tend to have your tax taken off your pay as you get paid. That's Pay As You Earn, introduced some years ago. It wasn't always like that, but for as long as I can remember it has been. Now, it's important to check that your PAYE code is correct, and when you get your pay slip each month, it's worth just having a little look to see that tax has been taken off properly. There's also another deduction called national insurance, but I'll talk about that in another video. You tend to assume that it's all being done fine because your employer's doing it all and they've been told by the tax office, but there's an awful lot of scope for gaps to happen. The HMRC don't know everything about you. They tell the employer to do something. Your employer doesn't necessarily say, well, that doesn't look right. If they're told to do it, they'll do it. And then they do it, and you assume that it's right because the employer's done it. And you think, well, they've been told. And so you can see how things can easily go wrong. Most of the time it is fine, but it's worth checking it. Now, each tax year, which is a year running from the 6th of April to the following 5th of April in the next year, each tax year, you're allowed or most people are allowed a certain amount of pay without paying any tax. For the year ended 5th of April 2019, that amount is £11,850. Now, assuming you don't have any strange circumstances or benefits in kind or any other weird things going on, well, they're not weird, but you know what I mean. If you've got a basic personal allowance, you would find that your tax code should be 1185L. Now all that means, they've basically taken off, divided by 10 say, so it's 11,850, taken off the zero at the end, and you've got 1185L. So if you had a tax code of 12,000, then 12,200, then that would be saying that you're going to be entitled to £12,000 tax-free each tax year, which will happen at some point. But actually, I think the next one's 12,500. So, that'll come in next year. But at the moment, it's 11,850, 1185. Now, with the payroll system, it works on a cumulative basis. So you're only entitled to that 11,850 if you've worked for the whole tax year. So if you get to 30th of September, you would only have been entitled to half of that amount tax-free. So things can go wrong when you start during the year, or especially so when you finish an employment part of the way through the year. If you finished an employment on the 31st of December and you decided you were going to have 3 months holiday, you would only have had 9/12 of your personal allowance for that whole tax year. So you would find when you come to the end of the year, you will have paid too much tax. So you need to do something to claim it back. Now, what you can do is, if you got to nine months through the year, you could do 9/12 times 11,850, and that's how much you should have tax-free. Then if you're a basic rate taxpayer, and I'm going to assume you are at the moment, things get a bit complicated if you go into higher rate, but let's assume that you're a basic rate taxpayer, so your income is between 11,850 and about 45,000. If you're within that region, you should be able to say, okay, I'm 9 months through the year, I should have had 9/12 of 11,850 with no tax, and the rest would be at 20%. So you can calculate to see whether you got it right, whether it is right or not. Normally it will be, and it's done cumulatively. So the next month, you will have 10/12 of your personal allowance, the rest of it at 20%. They'll compare what tax you've already paid, see what you should have paid to date, and take the tax off. So it should work out correctly through the whole year. But that's a way of checking it. It might be a little bit complex without maybe if you need me to write anything down, just ask some questions and put them in the comments below. I shall talk about national insurance another time, because that works slightly differently, but nevertheless it's still worth checking it and making sure you're getting deducted the right amount. Anyway, if you like, please like and subscribe below, and I'll speak to you again soon.